Introduction. Hi, friends. Welcome back to English with Friends. I'm Adam, and today we're diving into a topic that affects all of us at some point, the fear of talking to others. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you wanted to start a conversation but felt a lump in your throat? Maybe your heart raced and you ended up staying quiet instead. Don't worry, you're not alone. This is something many people experience, and today we're going to unpack it together. Let me start with a quick story. A few years ago, I attended a big event where I didn't know anyone. I remember standing in the corner, overthinking every word I might say if someone approached me. I wanted to connect with people, but the fear of saying the wrong thing or being judged held me back. It wasn't until someone smiled and asked me a simple question that I realized how much I was overthinking. That moment made me curious. Why do we feel this way? And more importantly, how can we overcome it? In today's video, we'll explore why we fear talking to others, where this fear comes from, and how we can break free from it. By the end, you'll have some practical tips to feel more confident and enjoy conversations without the anxiety. So grab a cup of tea or coffee, sit back, and let's get started. Why do we fear talking to others? When we feel nervous or afraid to talk to someone, it's easy to think, what's wrong with me? But the truth is, this fear is deeply rooted in how we, as humans, are wired. Let's break it down into two key aspects: the biological perspective and the effects of social conditioning. Biological perspective. To understand why talking to others can make us so nervous, we need to look at our biology. Humans have evolved to live in groups. In the past, being accepted by the group was essential for survival. If you were rejected, it could mean losing protection, resources, or even your life. That's why our brains developed a natural aversion to rejection. It was literally a matter of life and death. Fast forward to today, and while the stakes are no longer about survival, our brains still react as if they are. This is where the fight or flight response kicks in. Imagine standing in front of a stranger or a crowd, trying to strike up a conversation. Your palms get sweaty, your heart races, and your mind starts racing with thoughts like, what if they don't like me? What if I say something stupid? These feelings are your body's way of preparing you to either confront the threat or escape from it. Interestingly, this fear of rejection can create a feedback loop. The more we avoid conversations out of fear, the more our brains associate social situations with danger. Over time, this makes the fear grow stronger. But the good news is that understanding this biological response is the first step to overcoming it. Once we realize that this fear isn't a personal flaw, but a natural reaction, we can begin to manage it. Social conditioning biology might lay the foundation for our fear, but society often amplifies it. From a young age, we're taught to seek approval from others, whether it's through school, work, or social interactions. Society places a heavy emphasis on being perfect, and this can make us overly self-conscious. For example, think about how often we're told things like, don't say something stupid, or what will people think? These kinds of messages create a fear of judgment that can be paralyzing. We start to believe that every word we say must be flawless, every joke must land, and every opinion must be well received. The pressure to meet these unrealistic expectations can make talking to others feel like walking on a tightrope. Another factor is the rise of social media. While it's a great tool for connecting with others, it has also created a culture of comparison. We see curated versions of people's lives where they appear confident and articulate, and we assume we must be the same. This can lead to a fear of being less than in real-life interactions. Finally, past experiences play a big role. If you've ever been laughed at for making a mistake or ignored in a conversation, those memories can linger and make you hesitant to open up again. These experiences reinforce the idea that talking to others is risky, even though the reality is often far less intimidating than our minds make it out to be. Understanding why we fear talking to others is crucial because it helps us see that this fear is both natural and learned. It's a mix of our biology protecting us from rejection and societal pressures shaping how we see ourselves and others. The good news? Once we identify these causes, we can work to overcome them. Remember, fear is a feeling, not a fact, and it doesn't have to hold you back. Common symptoms of fear. Let's talk about the signs of fear that many of us experience when we're about to talk to someone new or unfamiliar. These symptoms can feel overwhelming, but they're more common than you might think. And the good news is they're completely normal. First, let's start with the physical symptoms. You might notice your palms getting sweaty, your heart beating faster than usual, or even a slight trembling in your hands or voice. These are classic signs of your body's fight or flight response kicking in. Your brain senses a potential challenge, like starting a conversation, and it prepares your body to react, even though there's no real danger. Next, there's overthinking. You might find yourself rehearsing what to say or worrying about how the other person will respond. Thoughts like, what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if they don't like me? It can flood your mind. Overthinking often makes the situation seem scarier than it actually is, leaving you feeling stuck before the conversation even starts. Another common symptom is avoiding eye contact. When we're nervous, maintaining eye contact can feel intimidating, as if the other person might see our fear. So we might look away or down, which can sometimes make us seem less confident, even if we're just trying to manage our nerves. Now, here's the important part. These feelings are normal. They don't mean you're weak, awkward, or bad at socializing. They simply mean you care about the interaction and want it to go well. In fact, even the most confident people experience these symptoms from time to time. It's just part of being human. The key is not to let these symptoms stop you. Instead, remind yourself that these feelings are temporary and that they're your body's way of preparing you for something important. The more you face these situations, the less intense these symptoms will become over time. Fear doesn't define you. It's just a signal that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's where real growth happens. Practical tips to overcome fear. Now that we understand why we fear talking to others and the symptoms that come with it, let's focus on how to overcome that fear. While it may not disappear overnight, with practice and the right mindset, you can build confidence and learn to enjoy conversations. Here are 4 practical tips to help you get started. 1. Shift your mindset. One of the biggest reasons we fear talking to others is because we see conversations as a potential threat. We worry about being judged, rejected, or embarrassing ourselves. But what if we flip the script? Instead of thinking about all the things that could go wrong, try viewing every conversation as an opportunity. Think about it. Each interaction is a chance to learn something new, make a connection, or even brighten someone's day. Instead of focusing on how you might be perceived, focus on what you can give to the conversation. Whether it's sharing a kind word, showing interest in someone's story, or simply making them smile, shifting your mindset from what will they think of me to how can I contribute can make a huge difference. When you approach conversations with curiosity and positivity, the fear starts to fade. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect, it's to connect. 2. Start small. If the idea of talking to strangers feels overwhelming, don't worry, you don't have to dive into the deep end right away. Start small by practicing in low-pressure environments. Talk to friends, family members, or people you're already comfortable with. These are the best places to build your confidence because the stakes are lower. For example, try starting a simple conversation with a family member about their day, or compliment a friend on something they're wearing. As you get more comfortable, challenge yourself to take small steps outside your comfort zone. Say hello to a neighbor, make small talk with a cashier, or comment on the weather to someone in an elevator. These small interactions might seem trivial, but they're incredibly valuable for building your confidence and getting used to talking to new people. Think of each small conversation as practice for bigger ones. Over time, these little steps add up and make talking to strangers feel much less intimidating. 3. Focus on listening. One of the best ways to reduce the pressure in a conversation is to focus less on yourself and more on the other person. When we're nervous, we often get caught up in our own heads, worrying about what to say next or how we're being perceived. But here's the secret. People love talking about themselves and they appreciate someone who listens. The next time you're in a conversation, try asking open-ended questions that encourage the other person to share more. Questions like, what do you enjoy doing in your free time? Or, how did you get interested in your job or hobby? Can open the door to meaningful discussions. As you listen, show genuine interest by nodding, maintaining eye contact, and giving small verbal cues like, that's interesting, or tell me more. Not only does this take the focus off of you, but it also makes the other person feel valued and appreciated. When you're a good listener, conversations become less about performance and more about connection. This can help you relax and enjoy the interaction without overthinking. 4. Prepare in advance. Sometimes the fear of talking to others comes from feeling unprepared. You might worry about running out of things to say or facing awkward silences. To combat this, take some time to prepare before stepping into social situations. Start by coming up with a few go-to questions or topics you can rely on. For example, ask about their interests. What's something you've been really into lately? Talk about shared experiences. What did you think about the event today? Keep it light and universal. Have you seen any good movies or shows recently? It can also help to stay informed about current events, popular trends, or topics related to the situation you'll be in. For instance, if you're attending a work event, brush up on industry news or recent projects. If it's a social gathering, think about any mutual friends or shared interests you could bring up. Another helpful trick is to have a personal story or anecdote ready. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic, just a simple, light-hearted experience you can share if the conversation needs a boost. Preparation isn't about scripting every word. It's about giving yourself tools to navigate the conversation confidently. Once you feel ready, it's much easier to relax and enjoy the interaction. Final thoughts. Overcoming the fear of talking to others takes time, but it's absolutely possible with practice and patience. Remember, conversations aren't a test. They're opportunities to connect, learn, and grow. Shift your mindset, start small, focus on listening, and prepare in advance. With these strategies, you'll find that talking to others becomes less about fear and more about building meaningful connections. Take it one step at a time and don't be too hard on yourself. Every conversation is progress. Keep going, and you'll be amazed at how much easier it becomes. Encourage the audience. Fear of talking to others is something almost everyone experiences at some point, but it's important to remember that this fear doesn't define you. It's just a signal that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's where growth happens. Feeling nervous is completely normal. It means you care about making a good connection. Start by reminding yourself that no one is perfect in conversations, and they don't have to be. Mistakes, pauses, or even awkward moments are all part of being human. What truly matters is showing genuine interest in others and being open to connecting. Remember this simple yet powerful thought. Every connection starts with a simple hello. That first step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be genuine. Each time you take that step, you're building confidence and opening the door to new possibilities. So take a deep breath, trust yourself, and go for it. The more you practice, the easier it will become, and soon you'll look back and see how far you've come. Keep moving forward. You've got this. Call to action. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What fears or challenges have you faced when it comes to talking to others? Have you found any tips or strategies that work for you? Share your experiences in the comments below. I read everyone, and your story might just help someone else. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might need a little confidence boost. And if you want more tips, insights, and conversations like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Remember, every great connection starts with a simple hello. Until next time, keep practicing, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next video.